In the previous lectures, we discussed about introduction to biomolecules, and in the second lecture, we discussed about how to analyze chemical composition, how to do elemental composition and find out which elements are there in the living tissue and in the soil. And we discussed like which types of organic chemicals are present in the living tissue, and we have discussed the table 9.1 in NCERT textbook. Now in today's class, we will discuss about amino acids in detail, and in the fourth lecture, we will discuss about fats as the order goes in NCERT. Now, we told that amino acids, what are they? They are monomers, means they are repeating units of a polypeptide or a protein. They are repeating units of a polypeptide. How many amino acids are there in nature? So more than 200. Sorry, more than 300 amino acids are there. But how many are proteinaceous amino acids which are found in protein particles? Only 20 amino acids are proteinaceous. Now we will list down all the 20 amino acids. So we can classify them basing on their amino groups and carboxylic groups. Like if they are having one amino group and one carboxylic group, we'll call them as neutral amino acids. If they have more than one carboxylic groups, then they're called as acidic amino acids. If they have more than one amino group, they're called as basic amino acids. If they're having linear structure, they're called aliphatic amino acids. If they're having an aromatic rings, they're called aromatic amino acids. If they're having sulfur in the structure, they're called sulfur containing amino acids. So one by one, we'll slowly go. So now let us see neutral amino acids. The first category is neutral amino acids. So in the previous lecture, I told you, in the lecture number 2, I told you like amino acids means they substituted methanes. One H is substituted by carboxylic group, another H is substituted by amino group, another H is substituted by R group, which is a variable group. Depending upon the R group only, we will classify the amino acids into 20 types. Okay. So now, and in the previous lecture, we discussed like the first amino acid, the simplest amino acid is glycine. And we need to remember the 3-letter representation of an amino acid with the single letter representation also. So the 3-letter goes with GLY and the single letter goes with G. And coming to the structure of glycine, as we discussed, this is an alpha carbon to which the functional group, which is carboxylic group, and the amino group will be attached. One hydrogen will be there, and I'm writing the R group here. The R group is hydrogen. If the R group is hydrogen, then that's the simplest amino acid, polar amino acid, symmetric acid, that's called as glycine. Coming to the second amino acid. The second amino acid, what they have given in NCERT is serine, will go with alanine. 3-letter representation ALA. Single letter representation is A. So we'll draw the same structure. The R group will become, so here is amino group, here is carboxylic group, and the R group becomes a methyl group. Then that is alanine. So glycine, alanine will go with valine, which is also a neutral amino acid. 3-letter representation VAL, single letter representation V. So the R group will be 3 methyl groups. So write down H here, alpha carbon, take the amino group, write down the carboxylic group also, and here just do it like this. So if this is a R group, it becomes the third amino acid, which is valine. Now let's go to the fourth amino acid, which is leucine. 3-letter representation LEU, single letter representation L. Now in leucine, so it will be 4 carboxyl groups. Take the hydrogen, keep the alpha carbon, take the amino group with the carboxylic group, and instead of 1, 2, 3, just write on CH2, CH2, then CH3, CH3. If the R group contains 4 carbons in this arrangement, then that amino acid is called as leucine. Then comes the next amino acid, isoleucine. Then isomers. So ILE is a 3-letter representation. Single letter representation will be like I. Since it's an isomer of leucine, it has a similar structure, but rearrangement of carbon groups will be there. So take the hydrogen, take the functional group, with the other functional group, carboxyl group. Now, I told rearrange the carbons. 1, 2, 3, 4. What I will do is, I'm taking one long branch with a short branch. Now, this becomes the structure of isoleucine. This becomes the structure of isoleucine. Okay. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we can categorize them under neutral amino acids, right? So, when we go with the other amino acids like hydroxyl amino acids, glycine name is there, alanine name is there, valine name is there, leucine, isoleucine. In the content, they have given the information, right? So, we need to practice the structures also then. Since it's a textbook, it will be concise. So, we need to collect the other information and remember that also. Now, let's go with hydroxyl group containing amino acids. Now, we'll go with hydroxyl amino acids. In that, the sixth amino acid will be serine. Is there in the NCERT textbook, right? So, the serine 3-letter representation will be SER. Single letter representation will be S. And the structure of serine will be, so if you remember alanine, it is H amino group, carboxylic group, and here we need to write the R group. The R group for serine will be CH2OH. If the R group is CH2OH, then that is called serine, right? An OH group containing amino acid. The next amino acid will be threonine, the 7th amino acid. Threonine, 3-letter representation is THR, single letter representation will be T, and the R group will be, so the R group will be, take hydrogen as it is, amino group as it is, carboxylic group as it is, add one methyl group extra to serine, that's what I did. So it will be CH2OH, this is the R group, then that is threonine. And the third hydroxyl group containing amino acid will be tyrosine, that we will be discussing under aromatic amino acids. So I gave 5 which are having one acidic group and one basic group, I call them as neutral. I took 2 which are having OH groups, that is serine and threonine. Now let's go to the third category. The third category is aromatic amino acids. Aromatic amino acids means, given in NCERT, they told they contain aromatic rings in them. So then let's go with 8, 9, 10. 3 aromatic amino acids are there. The first one is phenylalanine. The next one will be tyrosine. And the third amino acid will be tryptophan. So, if you remember alanine, for alanine, bring the phenyl group, benzene ring, it becomes phenylalanine. So, the 3-letter representation of phenylalanine will be PHE. Single letter alphabetical representation P goes with proline, which is also another amino acid. So, we'll go with F then. Now, the 3-letter representation of tyrosine will be TYR. And T we have given for threonine. So, here we'll go with Y then. The second alphabet is Y. So, we are going with Y. And tryptophan, the 3-letter representation will be TRP. And the single letter representation will go with W. Because T for threonine, R for arginine will go, P for proline. So, that's why we are going with alphabet W. Now, I told you first we'll write the alanine structure. To that we'll add the phenyl ring. The alanine structure goes like this. What's the structure of alanine, Amma? So, like we have a hydrogen here. We have a amino group, carboxylic group, and here is CH3. This is alanine. To alanine, I'm just asking to attach a benzene ring. This becomes the structure of phenylalanine. This becomes the structure of phenylalanine. Now, if we have to write tyrosine, hydroxylated phenylalanine is tyrosine. That means we just draw phenylalanine. To that we'll add an OH group. So, see, I'm adding an OH group. And here is the phenyl group. And this is the R group. So, if this is the R group, it is phenylalanine. If this is the R group, to which, so we need to take amino group one side, carboxylic group one side, and hydrogen one side. This is tyrosine. So what did I do? I took the same phenylalanine structure. To that I added an OH group. Now coming to tryptophan. The structure of tryptophan, since it is aromatic, so we need to take the R group as aromatic rings, right? So, this is the R group. See, 2 rings, okay? This is the R group. To that, here is an alpha carbon, amine group 1 place, carboxylic group 1 place, and hydrogen at other place. So this is tryptophan. So out of 20 amino acids, so with very easily we understood 10 amino acids. 5 are neutral, 2 are hydroxylic group simple, 1 hydroxylic group amino acid is there, an aromatic amino acid also. What are they? Glycine, alanine, valine, leucine, isoleucine. Then comes serine, threonine. Then comes phenylalanine, tyrosine and tryptophan. With this we finish 10 out of 20 amino acids. The remaining 10 amino acids are, we will now go with acidic amino acids and basic amino acids. Acidic amino acids means they will have more than 1 carboxylic groups. Basic amino acids means, as I told in the starting of the class, they will have more than 1 amino groups. So let's start with acidic amino acids. So count goes with 11. So the 4th category will be acidic amino acids. I told you, so there are 2 acidic amino acids called aspartic acid. The next one will be glutamic acid. The 3-letter representation of aspartic acid will be ASP, GLU. The single-letter representation will go with D and E. Why didn't we go with A? A we gave it for alanine. Why didn't we go with the second alphabet S? We went with serine. Third alphabet P went with proline. So there's no option for us. We had to pick. Alphabetically we went with D. So here G for glycine, L for leucine. So that's why we just went below D is there. So we brought E. Now let us see the structure of aspartic acid. The structure of aspartic acid is, take the hydrogen, bring the amino group, take the carboxylic group, and it's an acidic amino acid. Acidic amino acid means it should have more than 1 carboxylic group. 1 I already wrote. I should bring the second group now. Now the second carboxylic group will be CH2COOH. If the R group is CH2COOH, then that is aspartic acid. Done. Let's go to glutamic acid. So I think you might be guessing. For glutamic acid, instead of giving 1 CH2COOH, I will give CH2, 1 more CH2 and COOH. If the R group is 2 methyl groups followed by a carboxyl group, then that is glutamic acid. Now there are derivatives, amide forms of acidic amino acids, which we call them as asparagine and glutamine. Now count number 13 and 14. So they are called amides, or we can call them as derivatives. They are called them as derivatives of acidic amino acids. Their names are asparagine and glutamine. 3-letter code ASN, GLN. Single-letter code we will go with N and Q, right? So now the structures will be, so amides means convert one COOH group into CONH2 group, right? So what shall we do now? Take the hydrogen, take the amino group, take the COOH group. Now first I will write aspartic acid. This is aspartic acid. Aspartic acid is getting converted to asparagine. I told you, convert one COOH group into its amide form CONH2. Means here, just add NH2 group. If you add CONH2 group, then it becomes asparagine. In the same manner, if you have to write for glutamine, first let us draw the structure of glutamic acid. Yeah, here it is. Now convert one carboxylic group into NH2, CONH2 group. So for that, I need to remove hydrogen. In fact, it's a hydrolysis reaction. I added it. So this becomes the structure of glutamine. So now our count is 14, 6 more are there, right? So now acidic amino acids got over, then goes with basic amino acids, right? So 10 we counted, 11, 12, 13, 14 are aspartic acid, glutamic acid. The derivatives are asparagine and glutamine, right? So 14 we got. Now next one, 15th amino acid, 16, 17. There are 3 basic amino acids. They are called lysine, arginine and histidine. Right? If you study the structure of DNA, histone proteins, they will tell histone proteins are rich in basic amino acids called lysine and arginine. So let's go with the next category, which should be called as basic amino acids. Under that, as I told you, so we have to go with count number 15, 16 and 17. They are lysine, arginine, histidine. These 3 are basic amino acids, among which lysine and arginine are found in making histone protein association, giving stability for the chromatin. Lysine 3-letter code LYS, arginine 3-letter code ARG, histidine 3-letter code HIS. L we can't give for lysine because L we gave for leucine, right? So then we have to go with K. For arginine, we'll go with R. For histidine, so we'll go with H, right? Now coming to the structure of lysine map, it is first draw the basic structure. Take the hydrogen, take the amino group, take the carboxylic group, add 4 CH2 groups. So what can I do? I'll write power 3. So to the power 4. With the Since it's a basic amino acid, it will have more than one amino group. One amino group is also there. Bring the another amino group. That's it. This becomes the structure of lysine. So the R group, instead of writing a long lengthy chain CH2, 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 I just took to the power 4. Then coming to arginine. Arginine's R group it has, I'll write it here. Arginine's R group is guanidio group. R group is guanidio group. So I'll write the structure of arginine here. Follow it. Take an amino group. Bring the carboxylic group. Split the 4 carbons into CH2, CH2, CH2. Then guanidio group means 1 nitrogen, 1 carbon surrounded by 3 nitrogens. 1 nitrogen surrounded by 1 carbon surrounded by 3 nitrogens. If the R group is such a big structure, this group is called guanidio group, which is characteristic feature of arginine. And the last one is histidine. The last one is histidine. So the histidine structure will be, it will go like a ring structure having 2 nitrogens. Here this is the R group, okay? This is the R group followed by amino group, carboxylic group and hydrogen. Followed by amino group, hydroxyl group and hydrogen. So we can check the bonds. Yeah, this is the structure of histidine. So we have seen the neutral amino acids. Neutral amino acids are glycine, alanine, valine, leucine, isoleucine. We have seen OH group containing amino acids which are also neutral only, right? So what are they? Serine, threonine. We have seen acidic amino acids like aspartic acid, glutamic acid, and we have seen their derivatives like asparagine and glutamine. Now we have seen basic amino acids. What are they? So lysine, arginine and histidine. So 17, 3 more are there. 2 are sulfur containing amino acids and the last one is an amino acid. Let's go with that. So 18, 19, 20, let's do that. Then our information about types of amino acids will get over. So our next information is the remaining 3 amino acids, as I told you, 2 are sulfur containing amino acids. The names of the sulfur containing amino acids are cysteine and methionine. Sulfur containing amino acids. Count 18 and 19. Cysteine, methionine, CYS and C, MET and M. So cysteine has a simple structure. The structure will be write down H. By this time you might have got the practice of writing the basic structure. This is alanine. To alanine add SH. That's it. If you add SH, it becomes cysteine. Then methionine. So methionine, so it's a long R group. We will take 2 CH2s, then S and CH3. Yes, ma. This is the structure for methionine. The last amino acid is called as an amino acid. It is named as proline. 3-letter representation PRO, single letter representation P. Now, the structure of proline, since I told it is amino. Amino means NH2, amino means NH group. Here we go. This is the NH group. Here is the alpha carbon with the carboxylic groups. CH2, CH2, CH2. Yeah. Right? Yes. So, this is a basic structure and this is the R group linked in a ring structure, proline. So, with this, we finished all the 20 proteinaceous amino acids, right? So, then next one will be like, what is the charge? Amino acids, how do they react? Amino acids are reactive. The chemical properties of amino acids depends upon the acidic charges and the basic charges. So, the chemical properties of amino acids depend on R groups. Now, in strong acidic solution means at a very low pH. At a very low pH, amino acid will become cationic. Amino acid becomes an ionic state, that is cationic state. So, cationic state can be represented by NH3 plus COOH, and here is the R group. This is cationic state. And in basic solution means at higher pH, amino acid becomes anionic. So, anionic state means, I'll write it here, COO minus R group, anion, right? Now, so at acidic pH it is cationic, at basic pH it is anionic. Every amino acid has a particular pH. At that particular pH it bears both positive and negative charge. Now if it bears positive and negative charge, how to show it? Plus also, minus also, R group. Then this ion where the net charge becomes 0 as the positive charge is equally balanced by the negative charge is called Zwitter ion. And the pH where amino acid exhibits this state is called as PI. PI is called as isoelectric point or isoelectric pH. So, if you keep it in electric field, if it is cationic in electric field, it moves towards cathode. It moves towards cathode. If it is anionic in electric field, moves towards anode. Now at its isoelectric point, since the net charge becomes 0, it gets separated out. So all this information is about amino acids. So hope you understood the lecture. So in the next lecture, we'll be talking about lipids, which is the next para in the chapter number 9. So if you like my video, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.